One of the biggest projects that I've been working on in my year-old hardcore Minecraft world is this harbor. It features multiple boats, a tavern, lumber mill, iron farm, and over 50 houses. That's not all, as overlooking the harbor is a giant castle where we keep all of the rare items that we find in this world. However, there's still one empty section in front of the castle, so my goal for this video is to get it completely filled in with builds. There's no time to waste since this area is pretty big, and the first thing I want to do is build a vineyard on this hillside. My first idea was to build some trees, but I really don't want them to block the view of the castle. And I've actually already built a vineyard in this world, I think all the way back on episode like 2 or 3. This thing is pretty small though, this new one that we're going to be making is way bigger. However, I do quite like the style of this one, so I want to go for something kind of similar. And the main kind of block that I used, I was trying to say that the main kind of block that I used to break up the different sections was podzol, so let's go see if we have any of that. That means it's time to take a little swing over to our starter house. Then we can press our little button over here and drop down into our secret storage room. And my chest for podzol is just over here. I don't think I have that much. No, I have a stack plus 25. I'm pretty sure we're going to need at least like a shulker box full of this stuff, so let's grab one of those and then head back up to the surface. And then if we head over to a taiga biome, there should be a bunch of this stuff there. Podzol located. Also, I guess I was chopping trees down here earlier. There's like a bunch of saplings. Okay, nice. Oh, a spear. Okay. I totally forgot that I just updated my game. Look at this. We can craft ourselves a spear. Let's go. I've never tried using one of these with the elytra. We gotta give it a try. Okay, I just spotted a pig. Come on. Is it gonna get it? Oh, okay, we got it. Wait a minute, what the heck? That was kind of broken. I'm getting completely distracted though. We gotta gather up a bunch of this podzol. 5 or so minutes later, I've got an inventory full of podzol, but low-key, I'm kind of worried this isn't gonna be enough, so let's grab another shulker box out of our ender chest and fill this one up as well. So back to the grind we go. It's been another few minutes, so let's fill up the rest of this one, and then we can throw the rest into here. And I think that should be all the podzol that we need, which is sweet, but just while we're here, I do want to grab our hoe, as I want to grab some leaves. Anyway, let's quickly fly to the top of one of these trees and then gather up a bunch of spruce leaves. And of course it's raining now, but that's fine, we only need a few stacks of this stuff. Guess we should also just like cut down the trees as well, because these random trunks don't look very good. And now that I'm thinking about it, we could probably use this spruce to make fences, and then we can use those to create the branches in our vineyard. So let's first make some sticks, and then we can make the actual fences. I think that's everything that we should need from here, so let's pack this stuff up and then head back home. Back at our base, let's quickly swing by our lumber mill. That's because I also want to use some warped fences as branches, so let's first grab some of these logs, turn those into planks, and then make the actual fences. And I think pretty much everything else that we need we should have in our starter house. For example, some other leaf types like azalea and birch, as well as some shortgrass, dead bushes, regular bushes, and ferns. Last but not least, let's quickly grab some coarse dirt from our secret storage room. And with that, we should have everything that we need, so let's get to building up this vineyard. I thought for sure this was going to be a super quick build, but it ended up taking me almost 2 entire hours. Anyway, I started off by creating some rows out of our podzol and coarse dirt, and then once all of those were in place, I created the actual kind of like vineyard bushes out of fences and leaves. I cannot get over how crazy this thing looks. It's kind of satisfying though with like all the rows, but really it did help so much with filling out the space. And I guess I should give you a bit of a closer look from the ground as well. As you can see, we have all these neat rows, so the workers or whatever could be just walking down these, picking all the berries and stuff to make the wine. I also tried mixing in some of these warped fences instead of just using spruce for everything, but I quite like how it looks. I also still want to add some grass and other vegetation in some of these empty spaces, but overall I'm really happy with how this area is shaping up. However, there's still one detail that I want to add to the actual kind of vineyard bushes themselves, and that's some resin clumps. It'll probably just be easier to show you what I'm talking about, so let's swing by our desert city, as I'm pretty sure I used the technique there. This house right here, for example, has this vine growing up the wall, and as you can see, I put some of the resin right on the leaves, which looks like some type of berry. I would love to add this berry look to our vineyard, but the only issue is that I'm completely out of this stuff. The good news is, I think I have some creaking hearts inside of our starter house, so we should be able to use them to make a farm for this stuff. If I'm remembering correctly, I put them in this barrel right here, and let's go. Okay, I have 3 of them. Also, I guess I do have a little bit of resin. I have 34 of the clumps, but honestly, that's still not going to be enough for how big this vineyard is. I think it'd be fun to hide our resin farm inside of a building, so I went ahead and gathered up some materials so we can build a brand new vineyard house. And I think somewhere just right here in the hillside will work out pretty nicely for ourselves, so let's start out with the foundation, and for this one, I want to use the tough bricks, regular tough, and we can also mix in a bit of this mossy cobblestone. I went ahead and built up the rest of the foundation, and I think something like this will work out pretty nicely for ourselves. We're of course going to need a door though, so let's get that in place. And there is a little bit of a gap right here above the door, so let's just fill that in with some trapdoors. Speaking of trapdoors, we can also do some right above this thing, and then below that, I want to do some gates. And the reason I left a hole here is for a window, so let's just create that out of some copper grates. I also left a couple of holes on this side here, so once again, let's fill these in with some copper grates. That is not how you place a copper grate. Let me try that again. Boom. And then to create some shutters for these windows, let's use some of these spruce trapdoors. We can even make this other one look like it's open by first placing down some temporary blocks and then doing the trapdoors on this side. And then if we remove these temporary blocks and then do a sign right here and another one right there, I think that's a really nice open shutter design. Moving right along, let's hop onto the foundation and place down some stripped jungle logs to create kind of like a divide between the first and the second floors. So we'll do the same thing right here, hop onto this other side and go bing, bang, and boom. Now that that's in place, let's do a few upside down stairs and then we can fill in the rest of the space with slabs. So same thing at the back, more upside down stairs and of course more slabs. And since this building is going to be for a resin farm, I thought it'd be fun to give it an orange theme, so let's create the second floor walls out of acacia wood. I feel like acacia wood kind of gets a bad rep and is hated on by a lot of Minecraft players, but honestly, I think this looks pretty good. Still gotta get a roof on this thing though, and maybe let's start with this little sticky outie bit right here. Can I maybe just fly on that with my elytra? Am I gaming right now? Holy, I'm actually gaming. Okay, but let's start off with some spruce stairs going all the way across, and then let's switch over to our slabs just going all the way up to the very center. And then we can simply just follow that roofline design and fill in the rest of this. Let's take a step back, and yeah, I think I like that, but I do just want to add a lantern right here and right here. We still need to do the main roof as well, but I think I'll switch this one up a little bit by creating a neat looking trim out of alternating slabs and trapdoors. And with that in place, let's get the rest of the roofline in. We can also place in the roof peak just using some slabs, and something that I just realized is that it's day 1999, meaning tomorrow is day 2000. I'm trying to think of something cool that we can do to celebrate on day 2000, but while I continue to think about that, let's get the rest of this roof filled in using dark oak. I got that all filled in, but you might have noticed we have this kind of like tough part sticking out of the roof, and that's because I was thinking we can make a small tower. So let's get started by doing a couple of stairs on all of the sides, and then in between all of those we can do some slabs. Next, let's do a plank in each of these corners, and then even more stairs just to kind of round it out, and then more planks, even more stairs, and then at the very center let's do a couple of planks, a wall, and to cap it off at the very top, a fence. Pretty straightforward tower design, but I feel like it really does help break up the shape of the house. If you take a look behind me though, you can see that the sun is setting. That means after we sleep right now, it's officially going to be day 2000. This is by far the longest I have ever played in a Minecraft world, let alone in hardcore. Let's see, can we celebrate with a firework? Is this gonna explode? No. Hang on, we gotta go make a proper firework. Let's quickly grab some gunpowder. We'll also need some dye, so let's grab some lapis, a little bit of paper, and some glowstone dust. Okay, then if we convert this lapis into dye, I think we can combine that with some gunpowder to, make ourselves a firework star. Wait a minute, I think I wanted to add my glowstone dust to that first. Oh no, I messed it up. Okay, let me try this again. We'll get our blue dye, and then we'll go like that, do our gunpowder, and then we can also add this glowstone. And then these ones are gonna have the twinkle effect. And then we gotta combine these with more paper and more gunpowder to get the actual fireworks. Alright, let's give these ones a try. They should hopefully look a little bit cooler. Come on, do something cool this time. Boom, let's go. Alright, let's just set off the rest. Let's set off the rest. Boom, day 2000, let's go. And you know what? To celebrate this milestone even more, I think we should go check in on my cats. I've been using my two cats, Munchie and Mittens, to guilt trip you into liking the videos all the way since episode 1. Seriously though, taking a second to like the video and maybe subscribing if you haven't already is such a big way to support this channel, so I really do appreciate it. Getting back to Minecraft, let's get started on the interior of our tavern house. And just while we're at it, I also want to get the entrance of this thing connected up to our pathway. Can keep it super simple, just some coarse dirt and a couple of granite slabs. Alrighty, but heading inside, let's tear out all of this grass so we can place in a proper floor. And I'm thinking we can just go for a super simple design of polished and cobbled deep slate. Next up, let's get the ceiling in place, and for this one, I just want to go for one of my favorite designs, which is alternating slabs and trapdoors. It's already looking so much better in here, but just for a bit more detail, let's add a couple of barrels, a crafting table, and a lantern. You might have noticed I left a hole in the floor, and that's because I want to add a staircase down to a cellar, and that's also how we'll access the resin farm. And of course I just bumped into some random cave down here, so let me light this thing up just so that nothing's spawning. Little progress update, we've now got ourselves a little cellar, super simple down here, just a deep slate trim going around the bottom, spruce at the top, and then the walls are made out of stone and stone bricks. And I'm kind of imagining this is where they'd age the wine before delivering it to the castle or loading it onto some boats over at the docks, so let's place down a bunch of barrels. Definitely doesn't need to be anything fancy, I think something just like this is pretty good, plus it gives us the space to place down some lanterns so we can finally get rid of this temporary torch. But of course, the whole reason for building this thing in the first place was to have somewhere to hide our resin farm, but the only issue is that we need to go even deeper underground so that the creakings don't spawn on the surface. I think this right here should be deep enough. Let's just place down some ladders so we can get in and out of here. Can cover this up with a trapdoor, and it's pretty much like it's not even here. Down at the bottom though, let's get to work digging out a large room so we can build up the actual farm. This took me like 20 minutes to dig out because for some reason I decided not to set up a beacon, but anyways, we should be ready to start building the farm now. Although I do keep hearing a zombie like over in this direction, and it's kind of starting to drive me insane. Where are you, zombie? What the? There's a mineshaft here? Where's my sword at? Probably need my sword, right? Get out of here, zombie, you're annoying me. Alrighty, let's light this thing up so that no more mobs are spawning. There's even a loot chest over here. Does it have anything cool? Not really. I'll take the name tag, I guess. Anyway, this thing should be more or less lit up now, so let's get back to work on the farm. We're gonna have 3 creaking hearts in each of these locations making resin for us, but first things first, let's make the collection system starting with some water. And then because the water stopped right here, we'll have to dig down so that it'll keep flowing. Alright, sweet, that's causing all of these blocks to go right in the middle, which is a very good sign, but let's tear this out so that we can add some hoppers. I want the items to funnel this way, so let's start on this side and do our hoppers going all the way across. So the hoppers go in this direction, and then we need a room where the creakings are going to go, so let's dig out maybe just like a 3x3 hole here going down 3 blocks. Something just like that, perfect. Got some trapdoors, so let's do these going all the way around the edge. Basically mobs see these as like full blocks, so if the creaking comes here, it's just going to drop right down. But now that we're down here, we should be able to find that hopper. Is it right here? It is. Okay, let's go. Let's just place down a barrel right here, and all of our drops will funnel into there. And then we of course need a way to get in and out of here, so let's just dig a bit of like a hallway going in this direction. And then we can break this stone block right here and go ladder, ladder, and ladder. That should be our collection system done now, so it's just time to do the actual redstone part. And we just got to begin with a pale oak log, then we can do our creaking heart and another log right on top. And no way, that gave us an advancement called heart transplanter, kind of gaming. Moving along, let's do a temporary block right here and an observer facing into that. And then we probably gotta do some more temporary blocks because I need a sticky piston facing into this block. So let's just go bing, bang, and then can I go boom? Okay, this is where it's starting to get crazy, but let's jump back up here, get rid of that block, get rid of this one, and that one, and that one. Okay, and then on top of this one, we gotta do redstone dust and redstone dust. And then let's see, I think it's just a slab right here, and then a slab on top of this one. I'm not 100% sure if I did this right because I'm a bit of a redstone noob, but once it's nighttime, I guess we'll see. Anyway, while we continue to wait till night, let's build up 2 more of these in this spot and right here. Just finished building this 3rd and final redstone contraption. Let's go see if it's getting dark out. Okay, not too bad at all. I think it's only going to be like 2 more minutes until the sun sets. Okay, once the sun sets, the creakings should spawn, and then we gotta lure them into this hole. Oh my goodness, okay, they're here right now. Okay, so if I come like this, and then I look the other way, are they gonna... Yeah, okay, he fell down there. Ah, these guys as well. Oh my goodness, why are these guys so creepy? Okay, if I stare at them, they don't come after me. Okay, then I'm gonna turn my back, and then hopefully they're gonna fall in there, maybe? Nope. Okay, let's try this again. Can you please go down there? Yes, okay. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see, but we have 3 creakings in this hole now. Basically, when we punch these guys, it causes the resin to form on these logs, and then once some forms where the observer is facing, it's going to activate that piston, and then the resin will drop down into our collection system. There's definitely like way more overpowered resin farms that you can make, but for our needs, I think this is going to work perfectly. And these guys are going to despawn once it's morning, so I'm just going to keep punching them until that happens, and then we can see how much resin that we get. Oh, okay, they just despawned. And I haven't checked this thing at all yet, so let's see how much we got. Okay, over 5 stacks from just 1 night of farming is not too bad at all. Best of all though, this should be enough resin to decorate our entire vineyard, so let's get to it. As I was saying before, this just kind of makes it look like the bushes have some berries growing on them, and even though it's a pretty subtle effect, I really like how it looks. Just walking through here now is so much more colorful. I absolutely love this. I might come back through here and add a few more details later on, but for now, I think I'm happy to call our vineyard finished. If you're familiar with my world, you might have noticed that this bridge right here crossing the river is looking a little bit different, and that's because I actually tore down the old one and built a brand new one. I mainly just wanted to make it a little bit wider and taller so that some small boats could come through here and dock at the harbor. I think I did a decent job, but we now have a different issue, and that's that our pathway on this side of the river no longer connects to the bridge. So while we're kind of working in this area, let's tear out this old pathway and get a new one in place. After tearing out the old pathway, I went ahead and patched it in with grass, and then since I got a bunch of materials back from, tearing out the old pathway, I could just go right on ahead and build up the new one. Okay, yeah, this is way better. We now have a nice pathway leading over to the bridge, and then you can follow this and either go down into the harbor or up the hill over to the castle. While I was working on this pathway, I noticed this box over here, and for a second I couldn't remember what it was. But then I took a look inside and I was like, oh yeah, it's one of our Halloween mobs. Even though this guy's being super mean to me and shooting me, I kind of want to give him a better home. Well, maybe a home isn't the best word to use, but I was thinking we could at least bring him over to the harbor. How many arrows do I have in me right now though? This is kind of nuts. Okay, Skelly, I think you can just chill over here by the end of the dock. You can just hang out here, alright? I think he's at least far enough away from the bridge where he's not going to be annoying us. And we did find that name tag in that mine shaft that we found, so we should name this guy. Just gotta go take a pit stop over at our anvil. Okay, hold on, watch these flying skills, boom. Oh, wait, where's my anvil? Dude, I could have sworn I had an anvil here, it must have broken. You know what, that's fine, let's just use the one inside of our house. Oh man, what should we name this guy though? I just got the perfect name for this guy, Calcium Carl. Can we hit this guy with the flyby? Watch this. Oh, no, I missed him. I thought I was gaming there, but apparently not. Boom, there we go, Calcium Carl. Please protect our harbor from pirates, alright, Carl? Dude, I'm not a pirate, don't shoot me. Oh man, this guy is such a jerk, I'm out of here. My shovel got pretty low while doing all that terraforming for the new pathways, so let's go swing by our XP farm and repair it. Hang on, let me lock in for a second. I'm really not trying to fall off this bridge. Okay, nailed it. I really need to make like a garbage disposal system for all of these ender pearls because this chest is completely full and it's overflowing into my inventory too. I've already been procrastinating that for like a million years though, so we might as well wait a little bit longer. Oh, you're kidding me. I was just trying to get rid of my pearls and I threw my sword in here on accident. It's like really hard to see because of all of these particles, but you can see my sword is in there. Oh man, you're kidding me. I'm crouching, but I still can't fit through here. This might be a really bad idea, but I'm gonna break this slab here. Can I get in now? I can. Where's my sword? Oh my goodness, dude, look at this. What is going on? Oh my gosh, I just want to get my sword and get out of here. Please give me my sword. Okay, there we go. Get me out of here. Get me out. Can I patch this back up? Boom. Oh! Dude. Oh my gosh. Oh man, that was way too close for comfort. I'm just gonna try to fly really far away. Hopefully those guys all despawn. Okay, by the looks of it, we're okay, but we gotta get this slab back in place. Please let me put this back. Please. Okay, maybe I... Oh! Dude! Oh, dude. I think let's try wearing a carved pumpkin. That should hopefully make us a little bit safer. Let's place this bad boy down and shear it. Now we should be able to put this on our head and hopefully the endermen aren't going to get mad at us. Maybe I should wait until we get there though to put it on. I can't see anything right now. You know what? Maybe not. This is kind of trippy, but also kind of fun. Alright, we're back in the end. How? Dude, how is this guy mad at me? Actually, what is going on? How is this guy still mad at me? Leave me alone. I just had an idea. Let's turn our render distance all the way down and hopefully that'll lower how many endermen are spawning in our farm. Oh man, this is kind of scary though, not being able to see anything. It feels like I'm going right down into the void. I'm really hoping this works though. I'm seriously starting to get stressed out. Dude, I am spamming right click so hard right now, but there's too many endermen in the way. I cannot get this slab in place. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not going to work, but I just had an idea. Maybe if I put some water here, that'll kind of stop the endermen from going on that block and then I can place the slab. I found my shulker box. I think I have some water in here. Okay, I do. Let's go. Oh man, the amount of endermen here are actually just making me nauseous. Can I please place down some water here? Oh my goodness. Bro, what's going on? Yes, place the slab. Yes! Oh my goodness, it worked. It actually worked. Oh man, that was so stressful, but I think we're finally good now. I'm gonna finish repairing all of our gear and then get out of here as soon as possible. Just finished repairing all of our tools, as well as the extras inside of the shulker box, so let's pick this up and our ender chest and get out of here. I'm glad our tools are all fixed up, but we do have another issue, and that's that we're down to just 9 rockets, and I usually keep all my extras in here, but this box is completely empty. I think I maybe have a tiny bit of gunpowder in here. Let's see, I have just 19. Yeah, that's really not going to be enough. Let's go quickly swing by our gunpowder farm. Made it over to our desert city. Let's go down here and check if we have any gunpowder inside of our output chest. We have 2 here and 10. That's also not very much, but you know what? Let's just quickly go up to our hot air balloon if I can nail this first try. Come on, first try. Yes, first try. I'm in like the middle of a cloud right now, which is kind of weird, but you know what? That's fine. Let's just AFK here for maybe 5-10 minutes, see how much gunpowder we get. It's been a few minutes and the sun is starting to set, so I'm going to take that as my cue to hop back down to the ground. Alright, let's see though, a bunch of creepers, that's a good sign. How much gunpowder do we have here? 49, nice, and in this one, a stack plus 16. That is quite a bit, which is very nice, so let's go grab some paper so we can make the actual rockets. Pretty sure our sugarcane farm here is overflowing, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. Yeah, we have a bunch of this stuff. Can jump over to our crafting table, turn all of the sugarcane into paper, and then we can combine that with our gunpowder to make a bunch of rockets. Sadly, it's still not enough to fill our entire rocket shulker box, but you know what, this will keep us going for at least a while. But now that our tools are repaired and we have more rockets, I think it's about time to get to work on filling out the rest of this empty space. I started off by creating 3 stone walls for some brand new crop fields. The first one I filled with wheat and carrots, the second one I used pitcher pods and lilacs, and then I filled the third and final walled off area with rose bushes and torch flowers. I was actually live streaming while building these, and after getting them in place, my chat convinced me to jump from build height limit all the way down to bedrock to get the caves and cliffs advancement. And that wasn't the only crazy thing to happen during the stream, because while trying to get some mob heads during a thunderstorm for our treasure room, I popped my very first totem in this world. It's safe to say that almost gave me a heart attack, so I got back to some much more peaceful building by creating 2 brand new houses near the crop farms we made earlier. And I couldn't resist, so I also added a few small boulders to spice up the terrain a little. Speaking of spicing up the terrain, I wanted to take it to the next level, so I locked in and built over 50 custom trees. Not only did I build some in this new area that we're working on, but I also added some wrapping all the way around the entire castle. This area is really starting to come together. We have our 2 new houses right here, which are looking really nice. And then we of course have all of our crop farms over here, which are just feeling like really immersive with all of these trees around them. We do have a bit of an issue right now though, and that's that there's not really like a pathway to get to these new crop farms or to these houses here. So I think let's go grab some materials so we can build more pathways. So you know what that means, time for another trip down to our storage room. The good news is I should have most of the materials that we need already, for example dirt, and then we're also going to need a bunch of this coarse dirt, and I'll also take some of this packed mud, and then the very last thing we need is just some granite. However, I will turn like 2 stacks of these into slabs. I want to build up these pathways, but I just noticed something. Look at this view when we leave our starter house now, like that is looking so epic. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. We got all the materials that we need, so let's get to building these pathways. I had to do a tiny bit of terraforming just to ensure everything was going to connect up nicely, but besides that, it was pretty straightforward to just get the path in place. This already looks and feels so much better, like these 2 houses right here for example actually feel connected into the area and not just like in some random field. Anyway, we can take this pathway even further up the hill, and then this will take us to all 3 of our different crop fields. I guess we still do have one small issue, and that's that I never really made like a proper way to get into these crop fields, so I think we should just dig like a little bit of a hole so we can actually access these things. Really doesn't need to be anything too fancy. Maybe I will just get rid of this cobblestone though. Oh, that's water. Hold on, I know. We can just cover that up with a granite slab. Boom, it's like it's not even there. But yeah, now we can actually walk into this thing and see all the pretty flowers. Oh, this looks so nice. We of course still have the same problem for the other 2 fields though. Where do we want the entrance on this one to be? Maybe just like right here? And there is like a bit of a step up on this one, so maybe we can just do some slabs like that and we can easily walk into this now. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that, so that just leaves us with one more wall right here to fix. So let's see, we can probably just tear out like these blocks right here, get rid of that leaf, get rid of that one too, and then probably like this row right here. And then just like we did with that last one, let's place down some slabs for a smooth transition. All these fields turned out so nice though, like oh no, I just broke my carrot. Give me my hoe please, thank you. Let me till that, ditch these leaves, give me my carrots back, and boom, it's fixed. Alright, you know what, enough yapping, let's just get out of here before I break anything else. I don't think a farming area would be complete without a couple of carts, so let's create one here by first placing down a hopper. And then for some wheels we can do some oak trapdoors on either side, and then for a handle let's use a spruce gate. I can't tell if this cart is just like derpy because it's so small, but it's kind of cute. I don't know, I kind of like it. Let's create a wheelbarrow beside this thing using a composter, a fence gate, and on this side we can do a grindstone. It kind of looks like you could hold on to this as, you know, the handles and then use this as the wheel to push it along. And then to make it look like it actually has some stuff in it, let's just throw some moss in here like that, and yeah, that's looking good. Something else I wanted to add to this area was a small little farmer shed, so that's why I built this little pathway section here, as I thought this would be the perfect spot. Anyway, let's start off by creating a spruce pillar right here, just coming up 4 blocks. Then we can hop down and do the same thing right here, and then let's just connect those up using some spruce slabs. And I've been looking for like any excuse at all to use the new shelf blocks. Let's just cover up the back of this thing. Oh, I totally misplaced one, but let's just cover up the back of this thing if I can, like that, and boom. Okay, wait, I'm gaming. I was trying to say though, I've been loving this new shelf block, so I've been trying to include it in builds whenever I can. I've also really been enjoying mixing the different shelf types together, like the spruce and the oak ones here go really well together. And I think for these oak shelves right here, we can give them a little bit more depth by adding some trapdoors to the backs of them. This farmer shed is really shaping up, but let's continue the roof by adding a couple more rows of slabs. And then for a bit of a slope, let's add a row of stairs. And I think it'd look really nice if we add a small overhang using campfires. And then for some final details, let's add a couple of lanterns. And then in this very back section, let's place down a couple of barrels and then create some shelves using trapdoors. I'm quite happy with how this little farmer shed turned out though, definitely a nice addition to the area. What do you think, Mr. Happy Gas? Do you like our new shed? Tell me that you like it, please. Please! Let's continue detailing this area, maybe just by adding a few hay bales. Maybe some over here by this wall too, why not? And I still have a couple more left over, so let's just go bing and boom. I feel like pumpkins are also a nice detail for a farming area, so let's just dot some on this hillside. And we can make some of them extra detailed by placing some sea pickles on top of them to look like some large stems. I'm just going to add a little bit of short grass to any of these other kind of like empty sections to make the area look a little bit more detailed, but besides that, I think this farming area is finished. We're getting closer and closer to getting this project finished, but we're not quite done yet, as we still have this massive open area right here to fill in with builds. At the moment, we have this pathway right in the middle, dividing the section into 2 different halves. So I think my plan is to do just a few more houses on this side, and then on this other side, we can do a bunch of market stalls. Also, I just remembered, is our Boner guy over here? Boner, are you here? Yeah, Boner's here, we're good. Okay, just checking. Anyway, I think I'm gonna gather up all the materials for building those houses and then we can get to it. I just spent like 20 or 30 minutes digging through all of my storage rooms, but I got super lucky and I had all the materials that I needed already. In these shulker boxes, we have enough materials to build 3 brand new houses, so you know what, let's just jump right on in and get to building. For this first house, I created the foundation out of deep slate and the roof out of black stone, and then to contrast those darker colors, I created the second floor walls out of cherry wood. Moving right on to the second house, I created a super simple foundation out of cobblestone and regular stone. For the rest of the house, I used a lot of different wood types like birch, dark oak, and spruce. For the third and final house, I created the foundation out of mossy cobblestone, the second floors out of oak, and the roof out of granite and jungle wood. All 3 of these houses came out great if I do say so myself, and I really love how you can kind of see the castle peeking out from behind them. Especially like this sightline right here, as you're walking up this path, you have like a really nice view of the castle there. Oh, that looks so cool. There were still just a couple more details that I wanted to add to these houses though, and that's some flowers. Well, I guess these ones here are saplings, but you know what I mean. And for this pink house right here, let's do some azaleas. Okay, but with that, the 3 houses are officially done, which means we just have this section right here to tackle. And since my plan for this area is to build some market stalls, I first want to tear out this grass so we can place in a proper stone patio. All the grass is removed, so let's get this in place, and I'm thinking we can use tough blocks, some of these tough bricks mixed with gravel and cobblestone. Pretty simple block palette, but I'm going to get this all in place and then I'll show you what it's looking like. I got that all in place and I think it's looking pretty good, but we got a bit of an intruder here, so you know, might as well just get rid of this guy and get rid of the llamas too. Alrighty, I think the stone patio is looking pretty good now. The only thing that I don't love is that it's a bit of a harsh transition. So just to kind of blend this out, I want to use a bunch of the short grass. I'd also like to use some of these bushes, but I'm down to my last 2. I do have some bone meal on me though, so let's just spam this so we can get a bunch more. And the nice thing is, we don't even need shears to pick these things back up, we can just use our silk touch pick. Anyway, let's just place these back down in a bit of a more thought out way, and we can also place more of our short grass too. This already looks so much better, but let's also just add a few flowers into the area to add a bit of color. Maybe a few more tulips over here, some azure bluets, I think that's looking pretty good. And with the patio and vegetation in place, I went ahead and built up 5 market stalls in varying sizes and colors to bring this area to life. These market stalls are already looking awesome, however they are pretty empty, so let's just add some lighting and then we can decorate them. I was thinking this one right here could be selling some amethyst, so let's start off with, you know, some amethyst blocks, and then we can make it look way more detailed by throwing a bunch of these amethyst buds around. Make sure we get some at the back here too, but already this is looking super cool. Moving right along, I thought this yellow market stall could be selling some cakes. So let's begin by creating some tables out of dark oak stairs. It's a little bit tricky, but if we go in a circle like that, it creates a really nice table design. And then on top of these, let's do some cakes as well as an acacia pressure plate. And then maybe for just one final detail, we can create a few smaller tables using scaffolding. Moving right along, I thought this orange stall could be selling books. So let's just begin with a few bookshelves, of course, and then we can also add a chiseled bookshelf and a couple of lecterns. And then for a bit more detail, let's throw a book and quill in each of these, and then we can also fill this chiseled bookshelf with some actual books. It's a pretty simple stall, but I quite like it, just 2 more to go. Let's maybe do this one next, and I thought it could be selling flowers, so let's first add a bunch of flower pots and decorated pots. But with that, all that's left to do is add the actual flowers, so I got some blue orchids here, some oxeye daisies, some pink tulips, as well as these super beautiful lilies of the valley. That leaves us with just 1 more of these to decorate, and I thought it could be a fisherman's stall. Let's just begin with some barrels, and to make these a tad bit more detailed, let's throw a trapdoor on top. There's just 1 more thing that I want to add to the stall, but I didn't have it in storage, so let's go out into the world and collect it. And my hope is that we'll be able to get it from this Badlands biome. What I'm on the hunt for is some cobwebs, but I see some over here. Gimme, thank you very much. There's someone here, there's also a bat, I'm a little bit scared, but let's grab this one too. Oh, there's a bunch over here, but there's also like some poisonous spiders. I don't like this at all actually. Dude, these poisonous spiders are following me, leave me alone. Oh man, the things that I put myself through for some cobwebs, it's no joke. I'm just gonna try to grab these cobwebs and get out. Okay, come on. Oh, a bunch of spiders just spawned. Okay, hopefully that's enough cobwebs, let's get out of here. Gotta use our imagination a little bit, but I'm picturing that these are some fishing nets for sale. But with that, I think I'm happy to call this little market stall area finished. I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm honestly really happy with how these market stalls turned out, and it kind of got me thinking that it might be nice to build a few more in this open space right here. So you know what, honestly, I think I'm just gonna do it. Let's lock in and build up a few more of these. I went ahead and got these fully decorated, and for this white one right here, I tried to make it look like it's selling fish. Anyway, for this next stall right here, this red one, I kept it super simple and it's just selling some kelp. And then I made 1 more stall over here out of crimson wood, which is selling pumpkins and melons. Pretty simple market stalls for sure, but it definitely helped fill out the space. And now that our harbor is fully decorated, I want to go update our world map. All the way back on episode 10, I built this giant map room right into the hillside. As you can see, I left a bunch of spots in here so that we can continue to update our map as we play in this world. We're in here at such a good time too. It looks so epic with the sun setting. Oh, dude, why did that zombie scare me so bad? I thought it was a creeper and it was gonna blow up our map room. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sleeping. I'm scared. I'm sleeping. Also, I've been playing a lot of days today. Another zombie. This is kind of nuts though. The last time that we updated this was in September of last year, and there's just like barely anything on this island, so I'm so excited to see what this is gonna look like. Anyway, enough yapping, let's go grab our maps and get to work. It's been a while since I last did this, but if I'm remembering correctly, I left all of the maps in this chest inside of our starter house. Oh man, look at these maps. Oh, everything's just loading in. That looks so sick. That is so satisfying. Anyway, I'm gonna get all of these maps updated and duplicated, and then we can put them inside of our map room. Oh man, it took way too long to get these maps updated, but finally it's done. That was definitely worth it though, because check this thing out. Our map is looking absolutely awesome. You can see our castle up here. Those are the 3 crop farms that we made, and then this right here is all those market stalls. This is such an awesome milestone though, like having this whole island filled with builds now. I'm so happy about that. And if we compare this to what it looked like on episode 10, you can see we've built so much stuff. My original plan was to update the map every 10 episodes, but I figured hitting day 2000 as well as an entire real-life year played in this world was also a good enough excuse. I guess I should show you the desert city as well. It's basically just this section right here that we added. If you compare it to the old map right here from episode 10, that entire area is empty. Last time we added this little marker at the bottom, so I did the same thing for here. It is episode 18 right now, January 16th, 2026. And I of course added the same marker to this map as well. As always, if you want to explore this world for yourself, you can get the world download on my Patreon or by joining as a tier 2 member right here on my YouTube channel. We've already done so much crazy stuff in this world, and I can't wait to see what we get up to in the future. Thank you so much for watching, happy building, and I'll see all of you in the next video.